Back at the Sala, thanks for joining us on the program Flipside. I'm Daisy Leo Asukidi, and today we're going to be focusing on the impact of the visa restrictions, the recent visa restrictions in the UK. And, you know, the UK government will prevent international students from bringing their dependents with them beginning January 2024, unless students are in postgraduate programs with a research focus. Now, the move is intended to help curb net migration. So it's official, foreign students can no longer take families to the UK from 2024. Now, the Home Office said the development was necessary to stop people from using the student visa as a backdoor route to work in the UK. Last year, almost 500,000 students' visas were issued, while the number of dependents of the overseas students increased by about 750% since 2019. Now, we're talking about 136,000 people got visas as dependents within 3 years. The crackdown will affect many Nigerian students hoping to pursue their postgraduate students in the UK, as they accounted for the highest increase in the number of dependents accompanying persons with study visas in the year 2022. Now, Nigerian nationals also accounted for the largest increase in sponsored study grants compared with 2019, with a rise of over 686%. That's a record high, and that's made us the third largest nationality group that has moved to the UK in the past 3 years. Welcome to Flipside. I have a travel agent, the MD of Ikogwe Travels and Tours Limited. They specialize in organizing tours, excursions, holiday trips to the US, UK, Canada, Belgium, Germany, Netherlands, and so many other countries. I'm talking about Mr. Tony Ikogwe. Good to have you on the show today.
Yes, thank you.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
Welcome. Okay, so many people are still not aware. Maybe the young ones who are prepping to school are aware, but the parents of some of these young children don't even know the update. So you just brief us. What's the current update on the UK restrictions as of today?
Yeah, first of all, before now, we have sending our students to the UK to go and study. About 3 years ago, before the postgraduate work permit was introduced, that after people studying master have graduated, that they have 2 years postgraduate work permit before the introduction of the student and student dependent. There has been a serious inflow to the UK in the sense that you as a master postgraduate study student, if you are going to study in the UK, you have the chance of taking your spouse and your children along to the UK under the student dependent visas. But first of all, let me first of all analyze the study in the UK system. The study in the UK system, we have the foundation program, we have the A-level, we have the undergraduate, and we have masters and the PhD programs. Now, for the foundation programs, people between the age of about 16, 17, 18, 19, they do foundation program. You have to have pre in Nigeria before you go into the full program you're going to study. Now, the undergraduate program, as usual, those that we have in Nigeria, that lead you to being a graduate. Now, let's go to the topic proper. You see, sometimes last 2 years, they introduced this postgraduate program that where students can come with their families on independent. But now, about some few months back now, the UK authority said that the rate of inflows into their country is becoming alarming. As a result, they have to stop people from bringing in their dependent. One of the reasons they gave was that they are not able to control the people that are coming to the UK territory. Secondly, they also said that the Home Office, they said that the Home Office processing visa for foreigners under this program, they don't know who and who they are coming. That students just pay fees coming to do it, must have come along with their families. It's not enough to have them in the UK. Secondly, if you look at the UK before now, in about 4 years ago, when you study in the UK, after your graduation, after your final exam, you have to come back to Nigeria.
Exactly.
Then for you to go and do graduation properly, matriculation properly, convocation properly, you have to apply for a visitor visa to go and do
The convocation.
The convocation.
Interesting.
Now, after the big exit from the EU, they look at it properly now that for their exit from the EU, that there is going to be some effect in their UK environment. They now introduce this student and student independent, where people have to take in their families into the country. If you look at this thing critically, the UK has made so much money, just to analyze when we started. Now, for you to go and study in the UK, we have a separate UK visa for student, fee for student visa, which is about $446 to UK. And all the dependents pay same fee as the student itself. Not only that, that's what they call RHS, insurance health surcharge, which is about $916. All members of this family pay the same. If you imagine a family of about 4-6 families, pay the visa fee of about $446, pay IS of about $912, multiply this, and all this money go to the UK government. You see, this has actually boosted the UK government. Not only that, the UK government have also look at the way students are coming to study in the UK. They also see that the schools are making so much money. Imagine in the past, some universities in the UK, their school fees was about £9,000. But because of the rush, because of the traffic, because of the inflow, so some of these schools that collected about £9,000 for doing a master plan, they have increased their school fees as much as about £14,000 to £16,000. Still, people are paid to go. They did not just have, those days, if you are going to study in the UK, you pay about £2,000 initial deposit. Now they even have to even increase about 50%, half of the fee.
Yes.
They didn't stop by that. They didn't come on that restriction that people are coming too much into that. I'm sure that is too much money. As I said, most of the nationals who are coming to UK to go and study, if all these nationals if they have settled economy, I don't think the yearning of coming to go and stay in the UK to go and study with their family will arise.
Yeah.
And they have also taken advantage of this. But as we speak, the universities, the institution in the UK, they are already complaining because they know they are making so much money. You see, if you are making a budget, you prepare your budget based on what your inflow as part of your budget. But now that they've restricted student dependent, invariably, because most people are interested in able to take their dependent to the UK. But now that this is restricted, I bet the traffic to UK will gradually reduce. As we speak now, you know, people see what is happening. Now, let me digress a little. The Canadian authority, and I'll say, okay, now UK has started their dependent, you know, for about 2-3 years now. It has been very, very tough getting Canadian visa for either visit or study. But as I speak now, you can make Canadian visa under 2 months.
Yes.
So they are also trying to also encourage students coming to that destination since UK, because they may not be able to meet the convention of coming with student dependent. Well, because the Canadian rules are different from the UK. But UK, you go immediately with your dependent. So now that the UK made the university, students can come on their own to come and study a master program alone. Thereafter, they have their postgraduate work permit of 2 years. Now, the Canadians have also opened their doors. So, okay, now it's now 50-50. Since you can come to Canada, come and study without your family, and UK is also doing that. So there are much people intending to travel to Canada for now.
Interesting. Okay, so the current situation is that the UK says you can come from January, you can come study. They are not stopping you from studying, but you can't come with your family. But the post-study, 2 years post-study, are they still going to give students?
No. The post-study 2 years work permit is still on.
It's still on.
But the one thing they also give a start, you know, before now, if you are studying in the UK, you can convert your visa from the student visa to the work permit visa. So for the work visa. So what they did now, the only way you can convert your is to when you graduated. So that's the thing. And all those point to something that also bring about people no longer interested in the UK destination. Okay.
Now, over the years, we've complained about, in recent times, about brain drain because of these easy visas to the UK. UK was like the big major country that was draining the best of the best from Nigeria. People go there. You see people who are already doing their PhD go back to go do another master's because they just want to go. And in as much as they're losing money in the UK, I think Nigerian government might just be dancing because it means our best to still be kept. But Nigerians are not the only people who travel to go study in the UK. Do you think that these restrictions will affect their ability of getting the best brains that they've been getting from Nigeria and other countries?
Yeah, it will affect in a way because, first of all, the people they are getting from Nigeria, most people will no longer be interested in going to the UK. I promise you, I bet you, majority of persons that went to go and study abroad, they never go to study and come back. Majority of them, after study, they want to stay back. And that is one of the reasons of their going there to go and study. And secondly, if you also have to also consider the life after your studies. Because if you look at the life after study, most people are doing here, they are doing well here in Nigeria. Most of the people that go for this postgraduate program with their family. But there are purpose of going to that program. Let me go and settle my family from the UK. So actually, I have nothing to do with maybe this or the best drain. But the Nigerians. Okay.
Now, recently there was a video in the BBC where they claimed that there was a Nigerian that exposed all our secrets. But this weren't really much of a secret, because if you go on YouTube, you'll see lots of vloggers sharing a lot of this information. How you don't have money and you can still boycott, get a loan to come. When you get there, you're working, you pay back. So these things aren't so much of a secret, but I don't know if that's the reason why this restriction came, but the restriction is here. Now, I'm going to ask this question. How do you anticipate that these visa restrictions will impact the overall tourism industry in Nigeria? You run an agency where you help people. Are you already noticing changes in the trends? Is it that people are reducing their interest already in the UK, or it's a rush now that the time is shorter?
Yeah, for now, the law will come in by January 2024. There have been a serious rush now, people who are trying to beat the deadline. So that because by September intake, because they have two major intake in UK. They have September intake and they have January intake. Now this law will come in, be enforced by January 2024. So a lot of people are trying to beat the deadline. That also tells you that as soon as this thing is over, that most people will no longer be interested in going to the UK destination to go and study, because most of their interest is how to move their family down there. So on the second time, when you talk about that Nigerian that spoke on BBC, it's quite very, very unfortunate for the young man that it was when the man, when BBC interviewed the young man, that UK authorities now took a decision that the man, people are saying, the Nigerians are saying that the man reviewed a lot of security that's happening in Nigeria. Fine. People might have their different opinion. But UK themselves, they are not blind people. Because like the analysis you gave them started this program. Okay? As we are in Benin today, if people keep on popping into Benin, there are going to be some problem of housing, problem of food, problem of this. You see, UK is a place where the government plans for the number of people that are there. And they know how issue of housing have been so difficult. Yeah. As I tell you in UK today, my family live in the UK. And very unlike them before now, if you want to move to a new house, so many processes have been attached to it. And I'll tell you, if not that because of the inflow of immigrants from various parts of the world to the UK, they also feeling the impact. But like, I still believe that after some time, that
they'll relax
this law.
Okay, now, how can Nigeria capitalize on these restrictions? They've been complaining about brain drain, so this is an opportunity for them. And this is not the only restrictions at the moment. 2 months ago, there was a red list that was brought out that they don't want to be recruiting health workers from certain countries because those countries don't have enough health workers. And Nigeria happens to be one of those countries. So even getting jobs as in the healthcare from Nigeria is now becoming difficult. So it's not even only school that there's restrictions. So how can Nigeria actually capitalize on this and make gains, retain their own?
I think one of the problem Nigeria has is that Nigeria government are not able to know the value of their citizens. One, let me use the medical doctor for instance. If you go to various countries, like US, Canada, the so-called UK, Nigerian doctors are doing very well. Now, these doctors, they study in Nigeria. Most of them study in Nigeria, they realize and travel abroad, and they're doing great there. Today, government is trying to use power. Let me use the word power because they're trying to put that for you to leave the country to go and study abroad as a doctor. I think that case is still in court, if I'm not mistaken. That you have to serve 5 years after graduation.
Yes, before you can even get your license.
For a program that you apply for yourself and study by yourself, and somebody is giving you a condition. There are two things. If you have create a scholarship for medical doctors, that you pay their school fee, you take care of them, after that graduation, they say you want to restrict them to about a particular period of year, before they can leave you. It's understanding. Not that somebody who wrote jam by himself, your parents pay for your school fees, you now graduate there, somebody is not putting law. You say, it's quite very unfortunate that in a nation like Nigeria, where so many things are not being put into place. I think I will say, I'm sorry to say, I have to say this on the air. One of the problems we have in Nigeria today are the politicians. Right from when they assume power, the first day they resume office, they started fighting back till when they are going to come back. So it made them not even have plan for the public. Most times, when I see people in Nigeria, my heart bleeds. In the sense that the political class are not concerned if Nigerians are living well. Okay, look at today. We talk about the first subsidy removal. Now the subsidy removed because they said because of some cabal who are benefiting for the first. Fine. Now you are saying you are going to cushion the suffering of Nigerians from the one part. You're also talking about increasing the NEPA bill. Not only the light bill, rather. Not only that, you're also talking about increasing school fees. So at which that's to tell you the government itself, they don't have the interest of the public at all. So that is why you see, I don't blame the UK. Because you see, we're talking about the UK student visa. We call it for chair general. The federal mean if you have your certificate qualification, you have your English requirement, you have your CAS, that's the certificate of studies from the UK, and you're able to, in fact, the visa is as good as 100%. If you're able to meet all these 4-point conditions. So people who are going to the UK, the visa register for the student visa and the student visa is very, very, very rare that they have a visa. So now the people have capitalized because if our economy is actually doing well, the need of our people living in the country to go and study or to go and move by other means. Whatever you look at even the study, see, because now they even focus on even the student visa now, student ban. There's another route where we are using to travel now. The healthcare assistant jobs. Like I tell people,
and now they're talking about the red list for those
under the student visa. You spend so much money. For UK schools, you pay about 14 to 16,000 pounds for a master program in the UK. And there you are not officially, you're not allowed to work more than 20 hours in a week. But either you like it or not, by the country, before the country of the program, you must pay that money complete. But like people who are going under the healthcare services, you get your job from here. You don't even pay as much as a student. And the healthcare assistant people are still even qualified to come with their dependent. So I thought, of course, you know, in the Nigerian system, there's always a way out. If one way close another way, if they say people will not come to the UK to come and study with their dependent, the healthcare route is still there. And the healthcare route is even cheaper with the same dependent. But I just pray that they don't also look in that direction.
Exactly, because you know that leads me to this. Don't you think Nigerians overdo things when we get opportunities? Don't you think we use it too much? Because when the UK, there was a time the UK were allowing dependents to come, and Nigerians were going, and it got to a point where they said, okay, there's too much pressure on our social care, on our schools, on healthcare. Let's stop this. They stopped, and we withdrew. And then they started again, and we have done it too much. Most of the countries, Nigerian, that open their borders to Nigerians to come into, they always have problems with Nigerians.
You see, let me tell you one thing about our country today. Let me use Nigeria and Ghana as an example. People will say because Ghana is a small country. I refuse. You see, we Nigerians, we have a lot of excesses. The things we do that when they say you are Nigerian, people want to open their eyes wide to say, how am I sure I'm safe with this man? You see, and they said charity begins at home. There have been so many things that the government, the parents need to do in our society today, and those things have been neglected. So, you see, look at our policies of today. One of the problems we have in Nigeria today is that you see, not until when certain group of persons are able to assume power in Nigeria, I don't think things will change. Because one, the people we have at Hemisphere Fair in Nigeria today, they don't care about how people are living. And I tell you, you see, you remember those days when the issue of kidnapping started. The kidnapping started in Port Harcourt. Who are they kidnapping at that time? They kidnapped the expatriate, the white people that come to come and work in their company. But by the time when all these white men stopped coming, they went back to their family. What do they do? They come back to the black people. Today, the kidnapping is now extended to even in our local farms. So that is the thing. But you see, the government really have a lot of roles to play when it comes to our people moving out of the country. You see, I will tell you, it's not because we are here. Nigeria have one of the highest outflow going to abroad for one thing or the other, one study to go and work. If you open the border, they say, look, there's a bridge from now to abroad. give say in the next 6 days, you can enter. I'll tell you, about 3% of Nigerians will leave this country. So that's the thing. So we need to repair our nation. That is not, you cannot use force on anybody. So, but when there is something good in the nation, like you see, a lot of investors in Nigeria today, they've left. I remember those days when I was growing up, we have Pan, Pigeon Boy Nigeria. In Kaduna. We have Michelin. All those countries, all those companies have left Nigeria today. So in short, they need to actually look down on so many things that could make people be interested in Nigeria. Not only even we as in Nigeria, people also, because for you to come and invest in Nigeria, you find it very difficult to, because Nigeria is the country whereby they can just wake up this morning and put on one policy that possibly will not favor your business. And before you know it, you are closed up. A lot of companies have winded up in Nigeria today, but no people cares. Okay, now look at the issue of this light in question. I'm talking about the light bill. They say they're going to increase the energy consumption. Do we really have light? Almost every home they have generator. We buy fuel, some buy diesel, and so on and so forth. So what had it been now that they said, now that they remove subsidy, say, okay, now we are going to improve the power system where you are able to get about 20 hours of light in every home in a day. If they say they want to increase tariff, we understand. In that case, when you convert the money used in buying fuel to the tariff, it's understandable. Not that you're still buying fuel. At the same time, you also want to increase that. So the government need to look into this thing and see how they can cushion the suffering of Nigeria. Because Nigerians are suffering. That is what's the statement of people trying to leave this country, not get a better future, a better earning somewhere.
Interesting. Okay, while we're still talking about the restrictions and how it can eventually benefit Nigerians, because it almost means that a married woman who might not just travel to go study because she doesn't want to leave her husband or her children, and it's going to affect everyone in the long run. Our education sector here, is it really appealing? A lot of things will be changed. Now, to better understand where the United Kingdom is coming from, we have a documentary that we copied from the CNN, and we just want to show you where they were talking about over-tourism. There's so much benefit of traveling. The benefits is so large. But that's not to say there are no challenges that could arise from when people are over-flooding these nations. Let's not begin even talking about the carbon that comes from the airplanes with the increase in bookings of tickets. So when we come back, it will be the concluding part of the show. All right, we're talking about the recent restrictions the United Kingdom has put on visas for dependents from Nigeria, and they made it general. But someone asked a very vital question before the show started and said, if a Nigerian says, I want to travel to the UK in January to study, and I don't want to leave my family behind, it means they won't give the family visas to go. But if a United States citizen says, I want to travel to the UK to study, and I'm going with my family, will this law really hold in that situation? And now that brings me to this question, Mr. Ikogwe. Will this not in a long run affect the relationship between Nigeria as a country and the United Kingdom? Because this is almost like some sort of discrimination against us. We are accounting for the major number of people who actually are emigrating to the United Kingdom. So will these not affect our relationship?
The new law, the frustration, this will no way affect Nigeria and UK relationship. Because I tell you before now, Nigeria themselves as a country have been looking for a way where people will not be traveling abroad for one reason or the other. If you remember before the introduction of this law that dependent for postgraduate students will not be traveling with their principal applicant again. The Nigerian government have come on with the medical personnel that when UK says some nationals will not be accepted, some medical practice personnel will not be allowed to come to UK for job from national, which Nigeria was included. And people have been rumoring that it may be Nigerian that even
sponsored itself,
engineered UK to bring that into place. But when the now came on the idea that people should no longer come with their dependent, of course it's not going to stay any relation between Nigeria and
the UK.
Because Nigerian government will be happy, yes, these people are here. That window for them to leave no longer happens. So it will not by any way I trust it will not by any way affect the relation between UK and Nigeria.
Interesting. Okay, finally, I would ask this. You know, there's just so much people who stay there, who stay in the UK, because we have a lot more Nigerians in the UK than other countries, I think, in recent years.
Yes.
They don't talk so well about the place. The only benefits they seem to talk about is there's constant lights, and when you send the money home, it's good. If you see the conditions Nigerians are living in these countries, you would think it's supposed to even deter us from going there. So what can we do to better the reception we even get in these countries?
See, let me tell you something. Fine, people have been complaining about UK. Most of it, their houses. The UK houses are very small. If you live a large life in Nigeria, that's why you see, when people come from UK to Nigeria, people look at them as people who are stingy, people who are tight-handed, people who are very careful in what they are doing. I think one of the things, I also live in the UK. My family has stayed there till tomorrow. One of the things I've learned about the UK environment is that you cannot just misbehave in the UK because everything that they do there are organized. You cannot compare the life in the UK. A children that is brought up in the UK and a student that is brought up in America, they are two different people. You see, America have this kind of life, European life. But UK, you are very careful, you are very mindful of the things you do so you won't enter trouble. So that is the thing.
So do you think, what trends do you expect to see as a result of these changes? You know, it has come to stay whether we like it or not, and this restriction will stay for maybe at least another year or two before they will revisit it. That's if they will, because most of the people who have been there to study, the chances are they will stay back and not return to Nigeria. So if it's about getting labor, they have enough people to stay, except for those who are using it as a transit to other foreign countries around. Now, but what trends are you expecting to see from these restrictions in the next few years?
I bet you from this restriction, from January, the traffic to the UK destination is going to drop seriously. I'm going to enjoy from about 100% to about 25%. Because most people, the interest of them going to go and study in the UK is, look, at least with this studies visa, I can go with my family. So since that is withdrawn already, of course, the yearning to go to the UK will be dropped, will reduce gradually.
Interesting. Okay, we have another documentary shortly before we end the show, where it was analyzing the benefits of tourism. We gave you the first one about where they are coming from, why they want us to stop coming at least, or reduce the population of those coming. But that's not still going to stop the fact that there are benefits to traveling. And so we're just going to push play to that video before we conclude the show today.
What's the point of travel? It's to help make us into better people. It's a sort of therapy. Without anything mystical being meant by this, all of us are, in one way or another, on what could be termed an inner journey. That is, we're trying to develop in particular ways. In a nutshell, the point of travel is to go to places that can help us in our inner evolution. The outer journey should assist us with the inner one. Every location in the world contains qualities that can support some kind of beneficial change inside a person. Take these 200-million-year-old stones in America's Utah desert. It's a place, but looked at psychologically, it's also an inner destination, a place with perspective, free of preoccupation with the petty and the small-minded, somewhere imbued with calm and resilience. Religions used to take travel much more seriously than we do now. For them, it was a therapeutic activity. In the Middle Ages, when there was something wrong with you, you were meant to head out for a pilgrimage to commune with relics of a saint or a member of the Holy Family. If you had toothache, you'd go to Rome to the Basilica of San Lorenzo and touch the arm bones of Saint Apollonia, the patron saint of teeth. If you were unhappily married, you might go to Umbria to touch the shrine of St. Rita of Cascia, patron saint of marital problems. Or if you were worried about lightning, you were sent to Bad Münsterfeld in Germany to touch the skull of St. Donatus, believed to offer help against fires and explosions. We no longer believe in the divine power of journeys, but certain parts of the world still have a power to change and mend the wounded parts of us. In an ideal world, travel agencies would be manned by a new kind of psychotherapist. They'd take care not just of the flights and the hotels, they'd start by finding out what was wrong with us and how we might want to change. The anxious might be sent to see the majestic, immemorial waves crashing into the cliffs on the west coast of Ireland. People a bit too concerned with being admired and famous might be sent to contemplate the ruins of Detroit. Someone out of touch with their body might be recommended a trip to Porto Seguro in Bahia in Brazil. Nowadays, too often, we head off without fully knowing what's wrong with us or precisely understanding how our chosen destination is meant to help us. We should become more conscious travellers on a well-articulated search for qualities that places possess, like calm or perspective, sensuality or rigour. We should follow old-fashioned pilgrims in striving to evolve our characters according to the suggestions offered up by the places we've been to. We need to relearn how to be ambitious about travel, seeing it as a way of helping us to grow into better versions of ourselves.
All right, we're about to end the show so that we can go get our Salah ram and enjoy. We're already dressed for the Salah celebrations. This your dressing makes me remember the president. He has exactly this outfit with the cap, even the design. So you're ready for Salah so that we can go eat our ram. On a final note, what advice are you going to give to us at this time? Those who are intending to travel, who had already started making plans towards 2024, that's for the students, the dependents, and those who will still travel without their family because they just want to go. They really are interested in studying. Let's say there are people like that. To the destination countries as well, and also from their transit country. So, threefolds. What I'm asking you is in threefolds. So for Nigeria, your final words to us as a country, then to the destination country, the United Kingdom, and the people who are traveling.
You see, first of all, my advice to those who want to travel, I always tell people, it's not getting the visa that is important. First of all, if you have a visa have a duration. What is the life after your visa expiration? This is what most people have refused to understand. You see, like when you come to our office, we'll tell you, I've discouraged a lot of people from traveling. Imagine some people who are about 50-something years old, and they say they want to go abroad. And I will tell them, at your age, what kind of job do you intend to do? But you see a lot of people who actually want to travel, who travel out of the country. Most of them travel out of frustration. One, we are living in an environment where you are not sure of your security. We are living in an environment where you are not sure of power. We are living in an environment where you are not sure of what will happen tomorrow. You know, the fear of unknown is a case. So these some people just want to leave this country to a place where at least we are sure that at least, even if we're not making money, but we have our life in a safe place. That nobody can come to my house today to come and do me this and do me that tomorrow. So my advice to Nigeria as a nation is that the government should look at the suffering of the masses. The government should look on what to do to give people hope. You see, like America, the Americans will say that we can die for America. Because when they say that, because they know what the Americans can do for them. I tell you today, one of the problems that we are facing in Nigeria is that Nigerian citizens are not able, they've not been able to have opportunity to know the benefit of being a citizen of a country. I tell you today, in some countries, if you are not working, you are entitled to a stipend. Government to make provision for you to be able to keep yourself going before you get a job. But Nigeria is a case. Nigeria, even they obtain the citizens, bringing the laws that are not supposed to be to get the little money we are getting. Are you getting me? So now they said, like what the governor said in Edo State, that the civil service, most of the teachers, will go to school 3 times in a week. Now those are the teachers. How many people are being employed? How many people the civil service employ in Edo State compared to the private sector? The private sector, averagely, the private sector pay at least maybe say about 50,000, if even actually up to. But with the new change in transportation, how many of these people are able to cope? So they really have so many things to do. So the government should look into what we do to cushion the suffering of the masses. That's my major advice to the government. But why people who want to also travel abroad, they should think it very well. The life after visa expiration, the life after my program. Those things are very important. If you say now that they said they've stopped student and student dependent, you want to travel to UK to go and study for a master program on your own, what is the chance that you'll be able to bring your
family after
tomorrow?
a while?
And if you're able to bring your family, how long are you going to stay without your family? So those are the factors that they need to look into deeply before they make a decision that they want to leave the country.
Okay, and to the destination countries we're going to, what would you also tell them? Because Nigerians are not, I'm hearing very little positive comments from Nigerians when you get there.
The destination country, I pray they also know that Nigerians are very intelligent. They also know that Nigeria helped them a lot, because most of the countries where we travel to, most of the citizens, they don't work. Most of them live on benefit. So it's these people that come from overseas that work from the tax they got from their taxes is what they use in paying this benefit. So they should be human to people that want to come to that country. I also look at what they are gaining from these people that are coming before they make some pronouncement. That's my advice to them.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Ikogwe, Tony Ikogwe. And the impact of the UK visa restriction is a lot of heartbreaking stories, news for those who were planning to jackpot, because that's the street term we've given to it. The UK became a choice nation for Nigerians because obtaining the visa was very easy. Maybe because they colonized us, but getting the visas were so easy. Even though it was one of the most expensive in the world, Nigerians did not mind and they were going there. But right now, they seem to be saying to us that we are too many in their country at the moment, and they are looking for ways to reduce the number of Nigerians going there. Yes, Nigerians sometimes we can overdo things. I would agree. You get a visa as a student, and as you're going, you're carrying 8 children to go study, you know. We do a lot. But Nigerians, at the same time, we have to learn from this. When one door closes, another opens. I know Nigerians are watching right now. Those that were not aware of these updates, they know now. They are making researches on what's the next country to go. What's the next country that will take us and our families. But let's not also overdo it to the point where those ones will also shut their doors against us. If possible, as you're making your research, even the travel agency should start encouraging people to go not just one country in particular, do visas, encourage people to go to other countries. The trooping into the UK is what got us to this place. I know my guest today mentioned Canada as becoming the next target. Please, if the agencies can encourage other countries, the United States, Belgium, Ireland, Denmark. There's so many countries in the world. Even Togo, let them go there. Encourage people to go to other countries, not just one particular one at the moment, so that the old see-finish thing won't set in. I'm Daisy, the US Kitty. Thanks a lot for your time with us. And to all my Muslim brothers and sisters out there, enjoy your day. Don't forget to bring the ram to us, those of us that are still on duty in our various workplaces. See you next week.